like it. I think you're just small enough that it would work and would work around you.
Yeah.
So as you get this small compass machine together, you hold it out in front of you with the force, and your roommate, Kring, looks back over his shoulder and looks at it and gives you a nod, thumbs up, and then goes back to his cooking.
Smells great, buddy. Thanks.
And there's a screenway. Inside the Golden Gundark, it is dry. There is soft music coming from the cantina to the left. There's the sounds of machines and like exciting noises of casino video games from straight ahead, and to the right there's that quiet space where the card games happen. There's a big balcony around this main area that you're in, and a desk in the center with a few people answering questions at it and cashing in chips and exchanging money. All in all, this place is very busy. There are a lot of people here, and the hum of excitement is ever present.
Is there a dance floor?
There hasn't been before, but there sure can be now.
Because, I mean, it seems like the type of place that there might be in between. Like, yes, you've got all the gaming areas, but it seems like there's kind of like probably would be a bit of a club area, which would probably have some kind of a dance floor as well.
Yeah, off to the left, you spot the sort of club cantina bar area. There is a long, shiny bar. There are some booths where people are quietly meeting, and then there's a group playing music in there, headed by a Harch and backed up by a number of other Silhouette Zero people.
She flashes Blue a grin and starts pulling them toward where the music is. You can kind of tell that she's thinking, okay, let's dance.
He smiles and is pulled by you to the floor.
And she kind of leans up, gets up on her tiptoes. She can't quite reach, but she's trying to whisper in his ear, like, well, I mean, since our walk-art rained out, this seems like the next best thing.
Yeah, the two of you converse over the sounds of the music. Yeah, this is fun. I haven't been dancing in a long time. Do we need a coordination check from Anames?
Probably.
No, I'm not going to make you do that.
I mean, honestly, it would depend on what kind of dancing they're doing anyway. If they're just doing like the little quiet kind of shuffle dancing, probably wouldn't be needed. If she's trying to do something like the tango, yes, it would.
The Spelinda Crass and the Arachnoids is playing on the stage. Their music is, well, how would I describe it? I think it's like a swingy jazz music. They've got the Star Wars equivalent of a stand-up bass and vocalist and drums and keyboard.
Yeah, she's definitely doing a little more than just like your little side-to-side. Mm-hmm. With music like that, it sounds like it would be a little more upbeat than that, but nothing too wild either, because as much as Blue said they haven't been dancing in a while, neither has Anames.
Has Anames really ever been dancing?
I think she's probably gone to the club with some of her friends from the studio.
From the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Felzo like making a group of people go to the club.
Yeah. Since they like popping in on each other, and then they'll drag each other to their various non-work hobbies.
Yeah.
So she has definitely been before, but it's been a while.
The two of you dance to a couple songs and then move off to the side to one of the booths. Blue goes off to get a couple drinks and brings them back a couple minutes later. And they say, so I've been thinking, something big's happening tonight, and I was gonna just go on my own, but I thought you might think it was interesting. You're gonna think I'm super weird, this whole thing, but yeah, I thought maybe you'd want to come. It's kind of a big deal for me.
Her eyes get, I mean, you can tell they don't get real big, but you can tell they widen just a little bit. and she's very interested, but she's also very uncertain about this. Why would I think you're weird?
It's a whole thing. It's this whole like event. There's going to be a lot of people. There are costumes. It's a lot.
So, like, you mean like a masquerade ball?
If I describe it, it's gonna sound super culty. It's not a cult, I swear.
She kind of shrugs. I mean, there's kind of a lot of those anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
And her eyes kind of actually drift towards where the Jedi Temple used to be. She says that.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much because she generally considers that in that way, but I'm pretty sure she's probably heard people refer to them that way.
Yeah. I don't know, it's weird. Never mind.
No. As I said, why would I think... As I said, even if it was, they're not exactly uncommon. And if it means something to you...
It's, they lean in. It's Force stuff.
Wait, she leans back enough just so she can look at his face. Wait, you have the Force?
No, I wish I did. But, yeah, that's kind of the point. It's just a bunch of people who... it's super nerdy. It's people who, like, just wish they had the Force.
She bites her lip and shrugs. I mean, I can understand why someone would, but it's also... It's not always everything it's made out to be.
It seems pretty cool to me to be able to move stuff around and hear people's thoughts and...
What if people's thoughts are mean?
Well,
and you're hearing it anyway. And what if...
Then it would be better to know them so that you could cut them out of your life.
Sometimes. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not always fun. It's not always exciting.
What do you know about it? Sorry, no, it's
no.
It's a whole thing.
Honestly, at this point, I'm rolling a Force die.
Oh.
And she's going to look at... she's going to set her drink on the table. And actually, more like she's going to let go of her drink and just kind of hold it in midair.
Blue blinks, does a double take. Wait, you're doing that? Kind of looks around.
She picks the cup back. She takes hold of the cup again and nods. So, I mean, when I said diplomacy in cooking classes, I spent most of my childhood with the Jedi Order.
Blue quickly looks around and grabs the cup out of the air. You can't do that.
Don't worry, I know how to not be obvious. I know I'm not a Jedi anymore.
Blue's face goes from amazed to almost angry and protective when they grab the cup to excited. You have to come tonight.
I suppose I can. As I said, I didn't have plans.
They look very excited. It's in a couple hours. Can I pick you up? I think I should probably go get ready.
Okay, should I wear anything?
I'll bring something.
Okay. Where should I meet you?
I can pick you up at your apartment or studio?
Studio.
Okay. That's off of Famba?
Yes.
The old warehouses.
Yes. I'll meet you at the entrance, I guess about 2 hours.
Okay, that's perfect.
You know what, I think she kisses their cheek.
And they smile and take your hands and get up, and I think the two of you walk out the door and hail a couple taxis. Maybe hail a taxi and share a ride until you get to where Blue gets off and head back to either your apartment or your studio.
I think she'll start out at going to her apartment.
There's a screenway. Mir settles down for the night, puts the droid chassis in sleep mode, charging up. It's mostly full. Not 100%, but mostly full. He sets about his typical evening tasks of putting bits and pieces together, looking at the future of his chassis and trying to modify parts. And that device with the Kyber crystal in it sits on his table. As he was working, he gets a sense of urgency from it.
What are we going to call it? Do we call it Sant? Do we call it Core?
Yeah, Mir probably would call it by the planet it was found on, just as the shard tradition.
Yeah, I like it. Although I kind of like using the forward part of it, so...
Cora.
Yeah. What is it, Cora? What do you feel?
That urgency, the emanating from it are the feelings of necessity and use, and the idea of brother again pops up.
Mir looks over his parts that he has arranged around the table, looking at his different projects, looks to Cora and concedes that projects can wait, but if you need your brother, well, let's go. They're more important.
You head out from your apartment, following the direction that this device leads you in. The journey down to rock bottom, down to the canyon town, as some people call it, is long, and you keep thinking you're going to get to the end of your journey, and it just keeps going further and further down. You get close, you get to the Undercity, and you see, looking out into the canyon, into this void of space, Dak Avenue runs along. You see small clusters of buildings down on the ground, and these places look long abandoned, look unlived in, and very few lights coming from down there. But you know that rock bottom is where you have to go.
Cora, maybe you could answer this, but I heard there were, primitive people that used to live down here, or still do. Do people devolve? I'll have to make a note of that for later, too. I think, now that I'm thinking about, one of the ways we could just say that this also has a little light on it to make it, we just call it a flashlight. That way people won't question really what it is.
Sure.
And so when
they won't question what it is, even though a droid, R3 unit with arms is holding it. Yeah. He'll
continue down, feeling the urgency that the crystal is providing him.
You make your way down and further down, and this crystal is pointing to this space. It's not on the level that you're on, but it's beneath where you are, and it appears to be beneath an old theater, long abandoned.
Mir has flashbacks to the last time he was in a theater and is hoping that the outcome might be a little bit different, but knows that things tend to repeat themselves. He makes his way over to the theater.
Yeah. It is very abandoned. As you go in, you see scraps of cloth blowing in the breeze in the entryway. And pushing those aside, you enter into a dark space filled with the debris of many years, and more recently, lots of droid parts.
Well, that doesn't bode well, does it?
Continuing on, you move into what was probably the main stage and find it just wide open. You can see straight up into Dak Avenue, the traffic above you, and down into a basement that is blackened with scoring from who knows what.
Must have been a really exciting theater with all these explosions and markings. They probably didn't get the memo from the Coruscant fire departments to not have any explosives.
Yeah, it sort of looks like a thermal detonator went off and then a ship flew through the building.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It'd be a nice spot for a ship to hide out for generations.
You make your way down into the crater. That's where your machine is pointing. That's where Cora is telling you to go. Little rockets pop out of either side of your treads. And
yeah, he's also known to use move to move his body if he needs to.
Yeah. Well, which one do you want to do? Do you want to roll for move?
Can I roll for rocket boots?
You could. It would be piloting.
No, as in to have them.
I just assume they're built in.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I did say I was.
Nobody's modifying R2D2.
No, he just does it himself.
Yeah. So yeah, little rockets pop out of either side of Mir's legs, for lack of a better word, and he slows his descent down into this pit, following the directions from your machine. You find a passage that goes downward, and entering it, the darkness of the building sort of melts away. At the end, you see that there's light, bright light, and the sound of people, lots of people.
Reaching out like he did down below with the clutch, he felt the joy, we'll say the twisted joy of those people. Can you feel that here?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Feel the joy and the completion of a project. It's not almost done. It's done. It's ready.
I would say that Mir gets as close as he can to be able to see what they're dancing around.
So you make your way down this passage towards the opening, and it opens up into a huge chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't see the ends of it. You can see that there's a raised area from where you are that goes around it, and even the bottom of it is far, far down. And in the center of this chamber is a black pyramid. The top of it cut away flat, and in the top you see a group of people on the top of it. They're arranged around them are the shards of Kyber. It looks like these bits of Kyber are placed in some sort of machine.
Can Mir determine the use of the machine?
No. It is unlike anything you've ever seen before. I'd be happy for you to roll a lore check to know a little bit about this, but you would only have that because of your history as a finder.
Mm-hmm. I will do that. And I'll flip on it.
Yeah, so will I. It's going to be a hard check.
Can I get a boost from being taught by Farvo?
You can have a boost for being taught by Farvo. You're going to have a setback because of the forbidden nature of this knowledge.
Can I get a boost for you being a person who uses technology in different ways than other people normally use it? That he can see how people can come to odd conclusions of using technology?
I don't think so. Not for this one.
Okay. All right.
I'm thinking this is more of an archaeology check.
Okay. Mir's very self-focused. He doesn't focus a lot on outside. Well, that's a lot of blanks. I do have a triumph.
Uh-huh.
And 3 advantages and 2 on the red die, so that's 1 advantage. So 1 advantage and 1 triumph.
No successes?
No successes.
All right, so this pyramid, this black object, this huge thing. You've seen things like this before. With Farvo and Danto, you went to Yavin at one point. You saw something like this there. But the black material, the stone that this is unfamiliar to you. And you don't know what culture would have built something like this. Do you have an idea for your triumph and advantage or advantages?
My 1 advantage. Can my advantage be that while he was looking for books about cross-referencing the journal that Farvo had, that at the library down below with the Devorian that there was something that references this.
Not for one advantage, but maybe for a triumph.
Yeah, for a triumph. I'll trade for a triumph.
For the triumph, you recall from your little bit of time spent in the Grand Institute of Forgotten Treasures, way back when you came to Coruscant for the first time, you recall a similar image to this thing. The text you found it in was very old. The image showed two Jedi facing off against each other with lightsabers. And those blades, the beams of the lightsabers were crossed, and below them was the shape of this pyramid with a flat top and a triangle sort of floating above the flat top. The only difference here is that you don't see any sort of triangle floating above it. You remember that in reference to ancient Jedi and somebody named Oscurus.
These Jedi, they're a problem. Everywhere I go, it seems like there they are, causing problems.
That's what Danto said.
Starting to think Danto might be right.
For one thing, she's going to want to update Sol and Afka.
Who do you want to update first?
Probably Sol, because Afka, as long as the bug is up, Afka should have been able to hear.
So yeah, you try to ring up Sol. He answers after a couple rings.
Sol Dixon,
Sol, it's me.
what have you got for me?
So Blue asked me to go with him tonight to what I'm pretty sure is a meeting of the Dems.
How'd that plan work out?
I was able to plant the bug.
All right. We'll be watching. Whatever you do, just know there's backup close by. We've got some stuff going on tonight. There's been a murder, but either Meryl or I will be nearby.
Okay, I hope they're not connected.
I'm pretty sure they're connected.
She sighs and rubs her nose. Kind of pinch and rub.
Just give me a buzz if you find anything else out.
As long as Afka is able to monitor the bug, you should know everything.
All right. We'll get that thing connected to my data pad if I can get this stupid thing to work. Anyways.
At that point, she very much rolls her eyes, very noticeably.
Well, yeah. Let me know if you need anything else.
I will.
All right. Bye.
Bye. And then she calls Afka real quick.
I'm gonna go ahead and flip the dark side point for Afka because Afka does not answer his comm.
Oh no. And then she's going to change into something more comfortable. She's going to keep her lightsabers on. And then she's going to make sure she's got, decent rain jacket.
Lightsabers? Anames has lightsabers?
Anames has lightsabers. She decided to, now that she not only had the crystal that she, from when she was a Padawan, she has that crystal that she stole from Dr. Sandlev. And with the Jedi being gone, she felt the need to make a couple lightsabers, predominantly for self-defense. She's just unsettled enough that she's trying to go back to the forms of self-defense she's the most familiar with.
As she puts these lightsabers back on her belt, can you describe what these hilts look like?
So the one looks like one of those batons that they have like that little handle coming out.
The thing you handed Blue earlier.
The thing she handed Blue earlier. The other is currently in two pieces, both of which clip onto her belt. They look like basically very fancy pepper spray canisters. They're both coated in wood, like actual hardwood on the outside, that she has carefully etched and burned. I think probably, most likely, a geometric pattern with some floral elements to it.
Okay.
And then one of those canister-like pieces is a bit curved on one end. And then she also grabs her blaster.
Her lucky blaster.
Her lucky blaster, she's hoping she won't need it, but she knows enough about the Dims, coupled with the fact that now she's hearing that some of the shakers and movers among them seem to be getting murdered. She's not going in empty-handed.
So you head out to your studio.
Mm-hmm.
The studio is within walking distance from your apartment. It doesn't take you long to get there. As you get there, you can see that some of the lights are still on from the inside where people are working. There's a big real estate sign that ended up there about a week ago. Future Forward Galactic is selling the building.
Yeah, she saw that. She's not really happy about it at all.
Yeah, nobody in the studio is happy about
She's
that at
pretty
all.
sure this means she's going to end up needing to find a new place for her studio.
Yeah, very likely. It's probably going to get torn down. Is there anything you want to do before Blue shows up?
Honestly, she's probably going to start packing stuff. I mean, she's there, she's got the time. It's something to do with her hands that she won't be just getting all messy right away.
Just packing up supplies.
Or packing and
bring back to your
organizing.
apartment?
Yeah, since, the studio's getting told she's going to have to move everything.
Yeah, so you spend a little bit time organizing and packing, and then you hear a soft knock on your studio door.
And she opens the door. I'm actually going to say, while she does that, she activates her amulet.
Ah, and tell me what that does.
User may ignore environmental effects such as fire, acid, and corrosive atmosphere. Always act as if in a standard gravity field and breathe normally underwater, and in a vacuum. Burn quality cannot be activated against user.
Okay. So what is the act of activating the amulet?
I think it's more of a, like she holds it and basically touches it with the force. Like a force trigger.
Mm-hmm. And then you open the door. Blue is there, leaning against the door frame, smiling.
She returns the smile. Says, well, I'm ready.
All right. I don't know if you're ready. You see that they've got a hand behind their back.
She raises an eyebrow.
They take something out from behind their back. It's sort of a folded cloth. You're gonna have to put this on.
Okay.
I told you it was weird. You were gonna think this is weird. Told you there were costumes.
You did. She reaches to take it from him.
It's medium weight, black clothing. I'll just wait out here.
She nods and goes back in the studio, closes the door.
It's almost in the style of Jedi robes. There's sort of a tunic with a wide belt. It's all very rough fabrics on the outside and smoother synthetic fabrics on the inside, all topped with a dark cloak.
It doesn't take her long to put it on. I mean, it's close enough to Jedi robes that it actually feels very comfortable to her.
It doesn't feel 100% comfortable. There are definitely some spots that itch in, like, just rough fabrics around, like, the neck and sensitive spots.
Yeah,
Just, like, weird places to put rough fabric.
She makes a mental note to get some black fabric and cover those up, just in, if she ever needs to wear something like this again. Especially because she suspects it very well may be something that, she has to deal with again. But, the style of clothing is very... It kind of puts her actually a lot into a similar mindset to when she was making her lightsabers, that this was something familiar. This was, I don't want to say a retreat or a regression, but it's definitely holding on to something from her past that's familiar that has largely been completely taken away now.
Right. I would imagine that those Jedi outfits are just so, like, layered of back and forth that there's probably some sort of ritual to donning the clothes of the Jedi and, like, becoming a Jedi on the outside.
Yes. Plus the fact that, these clothes have, she knows how to move in them.
Mm-hmm. They're a little big on you. Just a little big.
Yeah, she's definitely making mental notes of things that she needs to tweak.
Yeah. I think you're able to tuck and fold bits of it to make them fit a little bit better, but I think the sleeves are a little bit long.
Yeah.
But luckily there's this sort of wrap around your wrists that you can tuck them back with.
Yeah, it's a good thing, because otherwise that would get interesting. I mean, the body with them being wrap tunics, that's easily dealt with. The sleeves are a lot more challenging to fix.
You exit your studio in your new cloaky outfit, and Blue gives you a smile and a nod. You can see that Blue is wearing something similar, but it's not quite as flowy. It's a little more tailored and just fits better. It also doesn't have like the cloak and long drapey fabrics that the thing that you're wearing does.
She definitely notices that, and she reaches for his hand and looks up and says, "So do these mean something different?"
Everybody's gonna look like you. You should, when we get down there, put the hood up because they don't know you.
She nods. What about you?
I told you it was kind of a special night for me, so I get to kind of dress down.
She looks at him curiously, but nods.
Shall we?
Lead the way.
The two of you exit and call a cab. The blue speeder takes you down, even past the Undercity, past rock bottom, to the level a few below the lowest level that you've ever been to. And Blue hops out and helps you out of the cab, making sure you don't trip over the slightly long robe, and leads you. This place is pretty dark, and there aren't a ton of people, not like in the upper levels. The way that they lead is sort of twisty and turny, and if you weren't with them, you would probably have your hand on your lightsaber the whole time. Eventually you come to what seems like a dead end, and Blue reaches down into sort of a little nook, and you hear a beep and a click, and the dead end wall slides away, revealing a passage. The back end of it is lit. It's not a very long passage, just a few dozen feet. And you can see that there's light coming in from the other side of it, but it is, the far end of it looks pitch black. You can see the light spilling into the passage, but whatever is on the other end of it is very dark. We're almost there.
She definitely looks curious when she sees the initial passageway, but she does start looking a little more nervous as they go along.
You're gonna think this is very cool. After the history museum stuff, you're gonna. This is great. You're gonna like this.
It's not what I'm worried about. It's just long, dark hallways, and well, it feels like somewhere easy to get lost in.
Yeah, but I know the way.
I know you do. It's just, it's just a little unsettling.
It'll be fine. Here, come on. They lead the way to the end of this passage. It opens up onto an enormous space. You can almost not see the opposite end when you look to the left. And to the right, there's a tall, plain wall that just goes up and up to sort of a scaffolding way up, and a little dark entrance or exit. And the thing that dominates this room is the thing that you saw that one night with Carp. A huge black pyramid.
So this would be the same thing they saw back the night that the Jedi were.
Yeah. You just came in from a different entrance.
Does she feel anything from it?
It's almost like it's sleeping. There's something there, but it's not active. And what you feel more than anything is, it's like what you felt when you were on Ilum. You can almost feel it. It feels like the Kyber crystal that you built into your Shoto blade.
She's going to actually reach for it, not Not in the sense of pulling it off, just kind of touching it,
Mhm.
as if she's trying to ask it, do you know this? Is this something you know?
You get that sort of resonant color that you feel from the Force. It's like the Kyber is not necessarily talking to you, but it responds to your touch.
She's definitely visibly curious. And then she stops. She's like, oh, yeah, you said pull the hood up.
Put the hood up.
And she flips it up.
The two of you are standing in the end of this passage, and a pair of people pass by you from behind, both with their hoods up, and they are walking towards this pyramid. This is the not fun part. We have to climb up to the top.
She kind of gives him a look as if to say, not fun, huh?
It's a lot of steps. You got short legs. I can only imagine.
I might have short legs, but, I mean, I'm used to working with things much bigger than me.
The two of you begin to make your way up the pyramid, unless you say otherwise.
I do not say otherwise, but I do think she may be trying to, as she goes, she's trying to sense where this sense of the light side something is coming from, and whether it's the pyramid itself or something else in the room.
It's not the pyramid. The pyramid has that sort of dark dormancy. There's that feeling of a monster being asleep. The blackness of it is not only visibly black, but it's black in the Force, as Anames senses the Force. The little bit of light is growing as you get closer to the top. You can see intricate carvings on the sides of this structure. Every once in a while, there's a landing. It's almost more of a ziggurat than a true pyramid. There are flat places where you can catch your breath from all the stairs.
Is she able to recognize any of the carvings?
Give me a hard lore check.
That would be 3 purple.
Yep. 2 successes and 3 threats. That seems appropriate because it is Sith.
Yeah, she's definitely not surprised about that.
Yeah. You see lots of triangles, lots of jagged shapes. Every once in a while, a skull-like face, almost like a mask. As you get closer to the top, you begin to see more and more people. And you realize that like I said, it's not a true pyramid with a pointed top. When you get to the top, it is flat. Reaching the top, you get to this large flat plain, and there are a number of people all sort of standing around at the edges of it, close to the edges. In the center, there's a small platform, and around it, on pedestals, almost pedestals, you see large chunks of what you assume, based on that inkling of light side, that little bit of light side, are Kyber crystals.
She has to restrain herself from walking toward them, and instead she reaches for Blue's hand.
And Blue takes your hand and guides you to a spot to stand where there aren't a ton of other people around. Says it's gonna start soon, I think. I can't be with you when it's happening, but I'll be right back.
She looks like she nods, but she looks like she's holding herself back from saying something.
They smile. You can say it.
Oh, just take care of yourself.
That's gonna be great.
She nods, but you can tell she looks nervous about something.
They take your other hand. Come on, you can trust me.
I know. It's not that.
What is it?
I can't talk about it here.
So later?
She hesitates and then nods.
Blue nods back and starts backing away from you towards the open space in the center of this pyramid. Give me a perception check. No, a vigilance check with a force die. With your whatever your force rating is. Don't forget you have a reroll.
I
at some
do.
point.
What's my difficulty?
Oh, it's going to be hard, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, it's 2 purples.
2 successes, 3 advantage, 1 dark side.
The dark side is clear. The dark side is heavy in this place, and that sleeping beast below you begins to stir. Your 2 successes, you feel something else, something, not these Kyber crystals that are close to you, but there's something else, a little pinprick of light somewhere else close by, accompanied by something a little bit darker.
I'm not sure what to do with the advantages yet, but she's definitely going to be trying to, since Blue's not right next to her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is definitely watching where Blue is going, but at the same time, she's trying to see if she can figure out where this new pinprick of light side is coming from and what it is that it's with.
Yeah. You get the urge to look at that place that you now know that you and Carp saw this pyramid from, that passage high up near the scaffolding.
And she's gonna look there.
And looking there, you see this outline. You don't see it fully out in the light, but you get the idea that there's a droid up in that passage, and that's where this is coming from.
She frowns because that does not make sense.
It's an astromech.
Yeah, that really does not make sense. I mean, okay, it's not the presence of an astromech that doesn't make sense. It's the, why does this astromech have something of the Force about it?
Yep. Weird.
At that point, she shakes her head and then looks back toward where she last saw Blue.
Anames stands on the top of this big black pyramid. There are a few people standing around in cloaks. Blue has left her at the edge, moving across the space towards the opposite edge. 3 people come up the stairs opposite. The 2 flanking on the sides, their faces are obscured by dark cloaks in the shadows, and the one in the center wears a mask. Thanks for listening to this episode of Coruscant Nights. Thank you to AJ and Rill for playing. You can find AJ's art on Instagram at AJ_Kimball. And you can find all of us on the Nightcast Discord, a friendly community of Star Wars fans and gamers. I'm sure you've had enough Morgul and Dem by now. I appreciate you putting up with those 2 for the last few episodes. If you've made it this far in the episode, you know that I've got a game live on Kickstarter right now. The Mechanical Corners RPG, which I wrote the majority of, has been a project of mine for the past few years, and I'm very excited to have a print edition coming out. If you'd like to see it played, you should go over to the Nightcast YouTube, where an actual play will be coming out very soon. Projects like this are super important for indie game companies. Just like indie podcasts, we can't survive without our fans' love and support. Thank you for checking out my project, and thank you for listening. If you're listening to this episode after our project finishes and want to see what I do for my day job, come visit us at fightinnabox.com, say hi on the Discord, and join our newsletter for all the latest stuff we're making.